Hello there, people of the internet. Not too terribly long ago, I made a video. Hold on, before I tell you about that, let me tell you about this. I've been out here recording, I've been dealing with wasps, and I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I had a Remington 870 with some bird shot, and that would be great for the wasps. So I brought it out here, and sure enough, it is great for the wasps. So you guys might see some wasp hunting with a 12 gauge shotgun in this video if I happen to see one. And I assure you, if I shoot the shotgun in a direction that is off camera, I am firing it in a safe direction. I definitely am not going to risk bad things happening over a wasp. But anyway, not too terribly long ago, I made a video where I talked about having a universal load. And normally with cartridges, there is no universal load. And I went in depth on what it is that I was looking for in that particular video. I recommend that you go watch that to get the full explanation of what I'm looking for. So eventually I did come up with a universal load. One powder charge that I can load in a variety of different cartridges with one bullet size, bullet diameter, and bullet weight. And what I ultimately came up with, again, if you want to see how I came up with this information, go watch that video. But what I came up with was a 170 grain bullet, so it stabilizes in all of my 30 caliber rifles, a 310 diameter cast lead round, so I can run it in both 308 rifles and rifles that have a 311 diameter bore, like say your 303 British or 7.62 by 54R, etc., etc. And in each of those, in order to achieve a 2,000 or roughly 2,000 foot per second velocity for these cast lead rounds, which is where you would want to be for cast lead rounds that have a gas check on them to avoid inaccuracies and leading inside of your barrel, I had noticed that with all of the loadings that I was looking at, with all of the research that I was doing, with each one of these cartridges that I was loading up and testing, again, if you want more information on all of this testing that was done, go watch that video. I discovered that 33 grains of a slow burning rifle powder was not only a safe amount of powder to be used inside of these cartridges that I went over in that particular video, but it also got me around that 2,000 feet per second mark. Now, depending on case capacity and whatnot, it might be a little bit faster or it might be a little bit slower, but it's not going to exceed 2,200 feet per second, which is still okay for the cast load bullets that we're going to be using, but it's not going to be any slower than 1,800 feet per second, which is good because I want as much power as possible. That's a wasp right there. Bruh, I'm telling you, they can sense me because as soon as I start looking at them, they're like, oh no, and they run away. I'm just going to hold this shotgun while I talk about this bullet. But long story short, the velocities are where they need to be. The bullet weight is at the diameter and the weight that it needs to be in order to stabilize all of the twist rate 308 rifles that I have. It's going to run in both 308 diameter and 311 diameter bores, like say 54R and 303 British. And it's going to be at the velocities that I need it to be at in order to get decent accuracy with these lead rounds that have gas check on them. So all of that being said, I'm out here to test 3 different loadings. I've got 3040 Crag, I've got 303 Brit, and I've got 7.5 Swiss. There he is. Ah, I got him. All right, he's not going home. -1 wasp. Okay, so all of these loadings that I have for these particular cartridges, we should see around 2,000 feet per second. I'm using 33 grains of a slow burning rifle powder. They all have the same exact charge. They all have the same exact bullet. It's that 170 grain gas checked round. I'm going to go ahead and fire them at 50 yards. We're going to see what kind of accuracy we get with them. I suspect that the 311 diameter bores are probably not going to be that great in terms of accuracy because normally you want to use a slightly oversized bullet for accuracy. But if we can just manage to hit a paper plate sized target at 50 yards, that's enough accuracy for the types of shooting that I do. Like if we can manage 4 MOA, I'd be happy with that. As a matter of fact, that's a standard of accuracy for most of your old school military surplus guns. And most people are happy with those. So I don't see any other wasps. I'm gonna put this shotgun down now. Let's see, where's this? Yeah, it's on safe. I'm watching you. Okay. There's so many wasps out here, dude. So right here is our bullet. This is our 33 grain charge. This particular one is 3040 Crag. This is our 33 grain charge, and this is a 170 grain projectile. It's been gas checked, it's been lubed. I use beeswax and A-LOX for lube, mostly. I'm actually testing different lubrication properties to see what we get, but I get pretty good results with those. So we're gonna sit down, shoot at the paper plate that I got down there, see what it does with these rounds that we're using. But if I can manage, like if this works and I have one universal load that I can use for all of my rifles, or at least most of them, the 30 caliber ones, bro, that would be awesome. All right, let's see what we got. All right, first things first, we're gonna use the good old 303 British. There we go. This particular magazine on this rifle is a little rough. It's not the rifle's fault, it's just the magazine that has issues. Let me adjust my camera here. All right, we're gonna do a 3-round group because I don't have a lot of 303 British brass and I don't have a lot of this ammo. 3-round group, see what group size we get down there. Okay, all right. That felt like it had more power than I was expecting it to have. All right, cool. Hell yeah. This is what the testing is for. I was expecting this to be kind of anemic, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed with how powerful this feels. Normally, whenever people do cast loads, they try to go as heavy as possible because you can't really exceed 2,000 to 2,200 feet per second because you lose accuracy. So to get more energy inside your projectiles, you go heavier. Well, in this, aha, another wasp. I see you, bro. I see you there. In this particular case, 170 grain is perfect for stabilizing all of the things that I need to stabilize. All right, come on. Land somewhere, you SOB. -1 wasp. You guys are watching me wasp hunt. Are you not entertained? Are you not having fun? Let me go grab that 303 British plate down there. Oh, there's another. Oh my God, there's so many. Why are there so many wasps out here today? -1 wasp. Bro, I'm almost out of ammo. I got like 1 round left. Yeah. Man, I'm taking care of those wasps though. All right, so that was a pre-used plate, and I tried tearing off the rounds that were, well, I tried tearing off the rounds that were not a part of this testing. I kind of messed up our plate. So we got 1 round here, 1 round here, and 1 round here. It's not great accuracy. It's like, well, at 50 yards, which is approximately where we're at, that's about 1.5 inches. So it's about 3 MOA. That's not awful. As a matter of fact, that's about the standard of accuracy that you would come to expect with these old school styles of rifle. So 3 MOA, I can live with that. I bet if I used a larger bullet that I could probably tighten up that group though. But that's a video for another time. This is something I can live with for the universal load data. So now let's try, I guess let's try the 7.5 Swiss and see how well that works. I'm gonna use a new plate. All right, this is the same cast bullet, 170 grain, 310 diameter, same loading of 33 grains of a slow burning rifle powder, same everything, just in a different cartridge, 7.5 Swiss. I'm gonna bet that this is probably gonna move about that 2,000 feet per second mark. I got a new paper plate out there. Let's see what kind of group size we can get. We're firing this from my K31, by the way, in case anybody's curious. All right, that was really mild. And I am willing to bet it also hit low. Here, I'm changing my 0 to a 300 yard 0 versus the 100 yard because I bet that we hit low on that one. And these are the only of this that I have, so it might be a 2-shot group. Let's see what we can pull off here. Okie dokie. Bro, this stuff stinks. Does not smell good. Alright, there we go. There's our 3 rounds. I think that these rifles also have a 1 in 10 twist barrel inside of them. So that should be good. Let me go see what we got. There's another wasp right there. Alright, you guys know what time it is. Time to go wasp hunting. Alright, I'm just gonna hold this shotgun while I'm out here doing what I'm doing. So here's our 3-round group. Since I did change my zero from a 100 to a 300 yard zero, this one here is our low shot, and then we have 2 that are a little bit higher. So I'm not quite sure what to make from this, but I will say that the accuracy is fairly decent. For what that's worth, that's not bad, considering that we had a point of 0 change. And with that 0 change, of course, our group size is gonna open up. So I'm gonna say that there's probably, even taking into consideration the change in 0, that's probably we'll call it 3 MOA group. Even if we do take into consideration the change in the sights that I did in the middle of shooting, this is still like a 2-inch group at 50 yards. So that's doable. That's definitely doable. That is okay. That gets my stamp of approval. Am I gonna have to go get more shotgun shells to keep taking out these damn wasps? I probably am. Because I've already burned through all. Remington 870, mine holds 5. I've used 4 so far. So I guess the only thing to do now is to use the 3040 Crag. And that's going to be the same bullet, 170 grain, 310 cast, moving probably about 2,000 feet per second with the 33 grains of slow burning smokeless powder. 3040 Crag with the universal load, 170 grain, 33 grains of slow burning rifle powder. Probably going to move about 2,000 feet per second. Cast bullet with a gas check on it. Let's see what kind of accuracy we get. Okay, alright. I've noticed that all these rifles, the velocities are probably going to be pretty different, but the recoil feels the same. Definitely tell that we're sending the same weight bullets at approximately the same velocities. Okay, it doesn't feel like a powerhouse of a round, but it's decent. It's decent. Alright, all those shots felt super good. Let me wander down there. I'm gonna grab the thing. Gonna bring my shotgun with me. Alright, the 3040 Crag had less acceptable accuracy, but it's still very acceptable for what I'm trying to do here. The idea of the universal load is to have one bullet, one powder charge that you can shove into everything and have it work adequately well. To get decent accuracy from your rifles, you're supposed to sit down and figure out what individual load your individual rifle likes. And I know for a fact that 3040 Crag prefers heavier bullets than the 270s that we're firing today, but this is what we got. So these 3 are from the Swiss, and we got 1, 2, 3 from the Crag. That's probably a good, I don't know, 4-inch group. So at 100 yards, 8 MOA. I could probably tighten that up a little bit if I were to play around with some stuff. But we're not looking to play around with some stuff. We're looking to use a universal load for everything. So it's mediocre with the Crag, but it's adequate, albeit not great. It's good enough for the shooting that I do. It's pretty gosh darn good with the 7.5 Swiss. That's a good 2.5-inch spread at 50 yards, approximately, give or take. And with the 303 British, it's probably about the same as the 7.5 Swiss. I wish that I had some loaded up for 7.62 by 54R, because I got my Mosin Nagant right there, and that right there would be a good thing to include. Is that a wasp? No, that's just a bug. So 7.62 by 54R, 303, 30-06, 7.5 French. There's a bunch of other cartridges that I still have to test this loading from. But as long as I get adequate accuracy at, say, 50 yards, which is where most of my plinking takes place at, if I get adequate accuracy, meaning if I can hit a paper plate at 50 yards, that's good enough for me for the fun shooting aspects. Trust me, if I'm using anything for practical purposes, I'm doing proper loadings. But a universal load for everything, you're not going to get good accuracy because you gotta fine-tune your particular loads for those particular cartridges, for those particular rifles, and that's kind of the opposite of what we're trying to do here. We're trying to find one of everything to fit all of the roles. So this is acceptable with everything that I've fired so far. We're going to have to keep on testing and just see if it works in everything else. So we're going to try 30-06, 7.62 by 54R, 7.5 French. We got acceptable accuracy with the 310 diameter bullets from the Enfield. Not great, but it was okay. I think this has some promise. I think this concept has some good ideas. I also want to try out 2400 for my powder, because 2400 is a super slow burning Magnum pistol powder, but for a rifle it's relatively fast burning and it'll get you good velocities for cast bullets. As a matter of fact, it's a normal go-to for these things. So 25 grains at 2400, that should give me more consistent velocities than what it is that I'm doing with the slow burning rifle powder through all of these different case sizes with different case capacities, with different seating depths, with different XYZ, insert your choice of factor here. So thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below is a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day, and I will see you on the next episode. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garrett. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.